Sleeves here with the Senior Pickleball Report powered by TNC Network. Let's get it going. Today in our People of Pickleball episode, we speak with James Main. He is the general manager for Seattle United Pickleball Club out of the National Pickleball League, and it's their first season in the league. And James is one of the OGs, been playing pickleball a long time and been all over the place. So we get to catch up with him and see what's going on with Seattle United. But before that, if you like this content, consider subscribing to the channel. Check all the links below for discounts and merch and our newsletter as well. All right, let's get to that conversation with James. All right, from Seattle United Pickleball Club, from the National Pickleball League, we have team manager James Main. Welcome to the show.
Thanks. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, so pretty exciting stuff, which we will get into. Obviously, a new team in the second season for the National Pickleball League, and something finally on the left coast. And, you know, we're kind of expanding that group of teams. But before we get into that, we need to know how this silly wiffle ball game captivated your life, like it has most of us. So kind of fill us in, like, how did you get into pickleball?
Oh, it was a long journey, been a long journey, but being from the Pacific Northwest, pickleball's kind of always been around. I learned about it, I think, in middle school. Yeah. We had a unit that teacher taught us, and the neighbor had a pickleball court, a sports court in the backyard that I remember maybe playing on a handful of times growing up. But to me, it was always just kind of that backyard game, that backyard sport. And it wasn't until I became a PE teacher myself, and I was teaching a racket unit in school. So we had tennis rackets, we had badminton rackets, and we had these pickleball paddles. And I found that the kids were most successful when using the pickleball paddles.
Yes.
So it was during one of those units that I thought, I wonder if they actually play this game in an organized fashion anywhere. So I got on the phone, rang up some community centers, and found one an hour and a half away. And so I drove the hour and a half, and the rest is history. That was back in 2003.
Yeah, that sounds very similar. My wife was a PE teacher in Phoenix, and she told me about pickleball right around the same period you're talking about. And she said it was just so much easier for the kids to keep the ball in play rather than some pressurized ball going over the fence. Yeah. And not chasing it down. And she goes, we didn't even really work all that much on the rules or the intricacies. It was about they could keep it in play. They were active. They were moving. They seemed to be having a good time. And I thought, oh, that sounds cool. And then, the pandemic hit and this sport just went through the roof. And I was like, oh, yeah, she talked to me about this game 20 years ago. And, look where we've come. So for you, obviously, being in the PE profession and teaching this game, and now we come 20 years later, and you're working with a professional team, not any professional team, in a league for 50 plus, which if somebody would have told you that, or myself that in 2003, we'd have went, huh?
Yeah.
So talk to me about getting involved. It's one thing, obviously, to teach it, to play it, to drive a long way to go and play it. But it's another thing to be involved with a professional organization like you are in Seattle United. So take me a little bit on that journey.
Well, I've been obviously playing a long time, and
you're an OG.
OG, yeah. My journey took me from Washington to Colorado, where I became an athletic director for a small little town up in the mountains. And we were focused a lot on sports tourism. So, and of course, I loved pickleball. Nobody knew what pickleball was in Colorado. This was 2011.
Okay.
Nobody knew what it was. So I taped down some lines on the gym floor in the rec center and invited some people there. And next thing you know, it started going. I became the ambassador in the region, started this tournament series that went throughout Colorado. And then I started inviting some of these up and coming pros that were coming through town, Scott Moore and Ben Johns and Kyle Yates. They were just coming up. I think Ben was 17 at the time when he first came over to Colorado, and we did a bunch of clinics and stuff. And then after that, it went from I'm bringing these people to Colorado. Why don't I take them somewhere else? And I started a business, Destination Pickleball, where I was taking people we went to Costa Rica, we went to Mexico, on these trips. And I brought the pros along and we do some clinics, but mostly it was just fun on the beach and playing pickleball. And so then I started getting a little bit older, and the game started to get younger and younger. And I wondered, where is this going for me? What can I do here? And here comes the National Pickleball League. And I'd never been so excited to turn 50 in all my life.
You and me both, brother.
Yeah. I think most people have those black balloons and you're turning 50 and I'm like, yes, finally.
People in my age group. Right on. So, okay. So, and then obviously Seattle United, they start this league. They have 6 teams. Year one. League is a huge success. I went to 2 events last year, was completely blown away by not only the professionalism and the way people were treated, but the high level of play. And I always tell people, you got to go see an event in person, because it's one thing to watch it on a live stream or TV and you go, oh, I could do that. But then when you stand there and you watch folks play this game at the level that you're involved with, and they're 50 plus, and it doesn't actually matter because they can do a lot of things that most of us cannot do. Sure. How do you get to the point where you're working with a new team in this, league that's really what I consider to be the best organized league of any professional kind in pickleball that I've ever come across, and it's not even close.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's just so professional. I actually started last year trying to get into the league. Mark Milner and he's a neighbor of mine just down the road, and we were trying to get in as the 6th team on the first year, and Oklahoma City beat us to the punch. And ironically, OKC goes and drafts Mark Milner, and you had him on the show, and he's the general manager of that
Great guy.
team. Yeah. So, I went to one of the events last year, and just like your experience, it's like, oh, this is fantastic, well run. It reminded me of old school pickleball back pre-COVID days, where everybody's just the great competition, but people are still, they're talking and they're laughing and we're having fun and there's camaraderie, and really enjoyed that aspect.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Right on. So how did Seattle United become a team? I mean, what was the process of that, and how did you get involved specifically with them?
Well, I kept in touch with the NPL, obviously.
Yeah.
And I told them that I was very interested in being the team manager, general manager of a team.
Right.
I wanted something to happen in Seattle, birthplace of pickleball. It seems only fitting. And it just so happens that Michael from the NPL, he calls me up and says, hey, there's this guy in Seattle that's really interested in owning a team. But he would need someone like you with a little bit of pickleball experience to help him out, and hooked us up. And hey, the rest is history. You're Seattle United.
Wow. Fantastic. So, talk about some of the things leading up to the season, which starts next month, in May. Obviously you had combines, you had to, draft some talent. You had to create a lot of things probably that people don't even think of. Obviously, you have a logo behind you, and you're starting to build a team, so to speak, not only players, but obviously, people to manage that team like yourself. So talk about some of the process that's been going on since Seattle became a franchise, and really kind of what you've enjoyed about it so far.
You see, it seems like it's been a long process, but really we only got started in mid-January, which I don't know,
Right.
that's only a couple months ago, really.
Yeah, right.
And so it's all had to come together really fast. But yeah, the first thing was focusing on the club itself. Like, okay, we need a logo, and we need a business structure, and
Yeah.
all that behind the scenes stuff. We need to set up a merch store and social media platforms. I mean, there's just all these little things in the background.
Right.
Yeah, and luckily we had a little bit of time before the combines in order to do that, because once the combines hit, then it was all about the players.
Yeah.
And trying to find the best ones, making connections, getting the right personalities, and yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's just not picking talent. Obviously, you got to pick people who can be in relationships with one another on and off the court. So
right.
talk about, like, really, because I don't think people have an understanding or an appreciation for the amount of talent that you had to wade through, having two combines and all the people that played in the league last year, but also who are coming in droves to the league this year. So talk about that, and and trying to sift through all that, and then make it work.
Right. Well, and there were so many that we didn't see, especially as the new team owners.
Right.
There was quite a few people that played last year that didn't go to the combine this year. They were just using what they did last year.
Correct.
But us new team owners, we didn't get to see that. So
yeah,
we had a couple hundred people at the different combines, and then we are familiar with the 50 or so signed contracted players. There's another 150 or more, 150 plus players that we weren't familiar with. So
yeah,
had to do a lot of homework there, and talk to people, and just scour the social medias. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. You have to become that's the thing. I've watched probably more than most, because I'm the only sort of senior pickleball brand around. I've watched so much senior ball that I can appreciate what you've had to do and going through, and, like, I didn't see so-and-so, but I heard whispers about so, then I go to find them on YouTube and watch some matches and then try to evaluate. I mean, it had to be a combination of draft night, like, excitement, and sort of like, oh God, I hope we did this right.
Yeah. Well, and it was quite amusing getting these emails or messages on Instagram, like,
Sure.
hello, you don't know me, but here's my resume. And I'm looking at people's pickleball resumes, and
right.
never thought in a million years I would even see a pickleball resume, yet alone sifting through them. And
what has happened to my life?
Right. And then I'm like a kid in the pound or something. I see all these people, and I was like, I want to take you all home. Well,
right. Yeah, the choices that have to be made, and that's the thing. I mean, now you're in a professional organization in a high, position, obviously, team manager, and looking at talent, and you're the guy who's been playing for a very long time. So talk a little bit about, I know it's year one for you, and I know that the excitement comes with that, but I don't even want to necessarily talk about wins and losses here, but let's just talk about, like, some of your expectations about the upcoming season and some of the excitement and things you're looking forward to, being, some of the new kids on the block.
Yeah, it's that's a tough one because of course the competitive part of me,
Sure.
we want to win,
Yeah,
obviously.
absolutely.
And it's a different role for me. I was like, I've pretty much always been a player. So
Right.
I don't know if this is going to be more stressful to be on the sidelines as the general
Yeah.
manager. I was like, I'm going to be sweating bullets over there, I think. Yeah. But I also think being in the pickleball field for a long time, maybe I have a little bit more. I just want to have fun out there too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I want to enjoy myself, and I want to enjoy being part of the team,
Yeah.
and I want to make it fun for them, and I want to make it a good experience for all them. So
Yeah.
maybe somebody that's newer to the sport might not have that same vision. They might be really
Right.
focused on the competition and winning. But so I don't know. Who knows? Then that first match is going to come up, and
Yeah, for sure. And the jitters will be there. And
yeah,
I think it's one of those things, though, once you get settled in and this community that you've been involved with for the last several months, for my personal experience, in opinion, there's nothing like it in pickleball. The senior champion pro community is really in a different place. I think for several reasons that I've talked about ad nauseum in other interviews, but mainly because this is sort of the frosting on the cake. They've done a lot of things in their lives. They've had incredible success in other avenues of their lives. They've gotten a chance to really kind of revamp some of their athletic drive and competitiveness, and they're getting an opportunity to do it in an incredible setting in an unbelievable league, in a thing that nobody knew would even exist 5 years ago, let alone 50
yeah,
plus, and you're playing pro. So to me, I think all of those things kind of just build a larger culture, which you're now a very big part of, which I think is for you is going to be incredibly exciting over this year. Obviously the jitters and all those things, you want to go well and you want to win, but at the same time, I hope you take a look around and go, wow,
yeah,
this is amazing.
Yeah. Well, and so many players at the two combines would come up to me, and
Yeah.
all the different owners and managers and the NPL staff, and just say, thank you for doing this. This is amazing. And we never thought we'd have an experience like this. And, I had to take a minute to reflect upon that, because I didn't, I was excited to turn 50 for this opportunity, but I didn't really think of it that way, as the sport just keeps getting younger, and that opportunity isn't there anymore for some of these people. So
Right.
hats
Yeah,
off
and
to
you're
the NPL. Those guys did an
for
awesome
sure.
job.
Yeah, and you're building your own culture in Seattle, which is really cool.
Yeah.
The little bit of time I've spent with each of the team owners and some of the teams over the two events and the interviews that I've done is each little, community of teams has its own culture and has its own way of doing things. But I think what I take away is the biggest thing I noticed about all of them in the umbrella of this is everybody's incredibly grateful. That seems to be the takeaway that I get. So before we let you go, talk about some of the things that you'd like to build as in the culture at Seattle United, and things you're looking forward to kind of developing with your team and in the members of your squad.
Well, we're really trying to keep Seattle United, or really get it deep in the community, and keep it in the community. Our owner, Stefan Keller, he's also a Seattle native. And, I grew up in the Seattle area, and we managed to draft quite a few players from the Pacific Northwest.
I noticed. Yes.
We weren't sure how that was going to go, but they fell into our laps and we made it happen. And so that's pretty cool too. And we love all of our players that we got on our team.
Yeah.
But having that Pacific Northwest connection, that's pretty cool. We're trying to utilize local businesses to do all of our um, uh, business that we need
Right.
done and stuff. So yeah, we want this team to last, and that's gonna be fun. We're gonna build a culture around it, and
Yeah.
hopefully get the whole Pacific Northwest rallying behind us, and
Right.
not just be a name, but be a part of the community.
Yeah, and I mean you're in a great sports city, in a great sports part of
Yeah.
the country. So I think it's just another crown and the jewel of what's going on out there already. So congratulations, James. I think it's pretty cool that someone like you, who's been around the sport for a very long time, because most people I talk to, including myself, found this during COVID, but you've been at it for, over 20 years, and you're doing something that's pretty exciting, and it sounds like well-deserved for you. So congratulations. Yeah. Best of luck in 2024. If you want to find anything out about Seattle United, I'll have links in the description. And anything else you want to say before we get you out of here, sir?
Well, I said, when people ask me why I wanted to do this, and I say, it's just the evolution of my pickleball career. Right. I said, there's not much I haven't done in the pickleball world, except for manage a team and be on a podcast. And now I can say I've checkmarked both of those. So
you're on a roll.
I'm on a roll. 2024 is looking pretty good.
That's right. Bet on this guy right now. Hey, Seattle United, you can find them this season, 6 stops starting in May in Chicago. Pretty exciting. I will be at the Kansas City stop for the PickleCon, and looking forward to meeting you in person and watching your squad play. And again, congratulations, and enjoy the season.
Thanks for having me. Let's go Seattle United.
Hope you enjoyed our chat with James, main general manager of the Seattle United Pickleball Club of the National Pickleball League. All links in the description about Seattle United and NPL and everything else pickleball below. All right, folks, at the end of the day, hey, you know what to do. Let's pickle.